The Young and the Restless scoop. For Monday, September 8th, reveals Clare Newman will receive alarming news from Victor Newman. Also coming up, Holden Novak will threaten Audra Charles. Plus, Sally Spectra will receive something thoughtful from Billy Abbott. And Victoria Newman will advise Kyle Abbott. Y&R spoilers tease. Sally will go over arrangements for the launch party with Audra. Tonight is going to take both of our careers to the next level, she'll say. But Audra will be spiraling. She'll say all she can think about is that everyone there is going to rub her nose in her failure. Sally will try to talk her down, reminding her that living well is the best revenge. However, Audra won't be happy when she learns that Kyle and Clare are going to be there. Sally will ask her to please put her grudges on hold for one evening. Then Sally will head out to get ready, and Holden will show up and tell Audra to leave Clare alone. But Audra will remind him Clare is involved with a very successful Abbott. Holden will say they're just friends. He'll add that Clare would be fascinated to learn exactly what happened in Los Angeles. Audra will say she wonders what Clare would think of his involvement. "This would destroy you," Holden will reply. "Me? I just played cleanup, but that mess, that was all you. That stain won't ever wash away." He'll warn her to leave Clare and Kyle alone. But what did Audra do in LA? As for Sally, she'll return home to Billy and say she's worried Audra's going to throw a drink or flip a chair at the launch. Can she not control herself for one night? Billy will ask. Then he'll give her a gorgeous brooch, saying it's a loaner. It belonged to Catherine Chancellor, who gave it to Delia. At Crimson Lights, Kyle will run into Victoria, who will say Clare told her what happened. So Kyle will ask if she's made any decisions. Victoria will say no, and it's not going to resolve itself overnight. "Tell me how you thought it was okay to keep something like this from the woman you love," she'll ask. However, Victoria will add Clare still loves him, but she needs space. Meanwhile, Clare will show up at Victor's office to thank him for the new job at Newman Publishing. She'll tell her grandfather she's trying to find a balance. How to be kind and compassionate, not just take it from people who hurt me or hurt me without meaning to. So, Victor will ask her if he forgave Kyle too quickly. Clare will tell Victor that Kyle kissed Audra. He didn't tell me about it for a long time after that, which has me questioning what else he didn't tell me. Clare will add that he also proposed. How am I supposed to take that? Is it a smokescreen? And now she feels manipulated. Clare will admit she was angry with him. But what if you were right all along? Surprisingly, Victor will stand by his decision. He'll tell Clare that Kyle passed the test and he loves her. "My feeling is Kyle did what he had to do to force the issue with Audra," Victor will add. "He impressed me, and the fact that he was willing to strike a deal with me made him even more trustworthy to me." So, Clare will ask what deal he's talking about. She'll want details, but Victor will say all she needs to know is that Kyle loves her. "None of this feels right, not the proposal and not the agreement," Clare will say as she gets up to leave. Finally, Clare will end up at the coffee shop. Victoria will say she and Kyle ran into each other. Clare will say she needs a minute with him. Kyle will apologize and say he didn't mean to put any pressure on her. They can talk about things once Harrison Locke is back. But Clare will point out he's still going in his own direction without her. "Just when I was ready to give you the benefit of the doubt, I find out you're keeping even more secrets from me," she'll say. "When does it end?" Kyle will ask what she thinks he's keeping from her. "The deal with my grandfather, does that sound familiar?" She'll reply. "You're keeping so many secrets, you don't even know what I'm talking about." Clare will ask him if he was protecting her again. Or were you protecting yourself? Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here's your recap for The Young and the Restless episode that aired on Friday, September 5th, 2025. At Crimson Lights, Michael left a message on Lauren's phone. She was in New York, working on Christine's wedding gowns. The attorney let his spouse know that he had a job offer, Phyllis overheard her pal and asked who the lucky boss was. Phyllis asked Michael if Victor had thrown him a bone. Michael said no. An inquisitive Phyllis asked Michael if he was joining a new firm or going back to the district attorney's office. She speculated it would need to be something big. Michael said he wasn't going to tell her anything. "It's Cain," Phyllis guessed. She pressed for Michael to tell her the truth. Phyllis wondered why Cain would need Amanda and Michael. "I know I'm right," Phyllis teased. Michael countered that he hadn't decided to work with anyone. Phyllis said Michael betrayed her when he defended Sharon. Michael pointed out that she was innocent. He had an idea she was, or else he wouldn't have taken the case. Phyllis said that Michael's decision to help Sharon was hurtful. "You were always a person I could count on," Phyllis said. Michael said he missed their friendship. Phyllis offered to wipe the slate clean if Michael told her for whom he was working. Phyllis said they're both on Cain's payroll, so it's just one employee sharing info with another. She claimed to be Cain's second in command. Michael theorized that if he asked Cain if Phyllis was in his inner circle, he'd confirm it. Phyllis told Michael that, despite her feelings about him, he's the best attorney out there. If Cain offers him something, Phyllis thinks that Michael should take it. Victor told Adam that they needed to wait until Nick and Victoria arrived for their meeting. Adam said it sounded serious. Victor said it was. Adam pointed out that Vicky hadn't been back to work since Cole died. Overhearing him, Victoria appeared and told him she was back. Nick asked if they were going to war with Cain. Adam wanted to know if they were already in one. Victor shared with his kids that Cain has developed an artificial intelligence software that will give him the edge in business. Victor said Cain could transfer large sums of money from a company. Vicky said this was how Cain planned on grabbing Newman, Jabot, and Chancellor Industries. Victor said Cain has to be stopped. Victor said he already had it handled after his kids asked how they could stop Cain. Victor shared the information that Colin swindled Madame de Leon out of her money. Vicky wondered if Cain was in on the scheme. Victor felt he was. Vicky asked what was going to happen next. Victor said he didn't hate Cain, but he has the option of exposing him. Adam said if they put the screws to Cain, he'd hand them the AI software. Vicky wondered what Victor would do once he got hold of Cain's technology. Victor said he had many options. Both Nick and Vicky hoped that Victor wouldn't use the AI software in the way Cain would. Adam wondered how illegal it could be to use a weapon that doesn't even exist. Michael showed up to talk to Victor. He agreed to give the lawyer 15 minutes. Victor dismissed his children so he could talk to Michael. Nick told Michael to be careful what he asked for as he exited Victor's office. Victor told Michael to forget it if he wanted his job back. Michael said he had a better offer from Cain Ashby. Michael said he received an offer from Cain, but that he may not have accepted it. Victor knew Cain would offer Michael a job, which is why he invited him and Lauren to France. Victor asked Michael what he wanted. I wanted to tell you before you heard it from someone else," Michael said. Victor quipped that he thought it was Lauren who made such decisions. Victor asked Michael what it was that he was after. Michael asked if Victor missed their friendship. He added he wasn't too proud to say that he did. Victor scoffed when Michael said that he had to talk over Cain's offer with Lauren. Michael wondered if not working for Victor had dulled his senses. He put together that Victor wanted Michael to work for Cain while secretly reporting to Victor. That would be his way back in the door. Victor asked Michael if he thought that was why Michael came to see him. In Chancellor Park, Lily told Cain that she saw the video that he made for Charlie and Maddie, and it touched her. Lily said she had to watch the video several times to see the man she used to love and trust. She conceded she saw a flicker of that, which led to her feeling emotional. Lily wondered if this was the start of Cain digging himself out of a hole. She advised Cain to let Maddie and Charlie come to him. Cain said he hated that he hurt Lily. It was the last thing he wanted to do. He wants Lily to know he's sincere. Lily cautioned that she'd love to believe that Cain's priorities have changed, but she couldn't just take him at his word. Lily asked Cain if he thought the video would be a quick fix. Cain said what he'd done was for Lily's benefit and for Charlie's and Maddie's benefit too. Lily doesn't believe that Cain was putting aside his big plans. "You lied to us for 6 years," Lily said to Cain. She added that real change can't happen overnight. Lily said it'd take a lot more truth and openness on Cain's part to get Lily to change her mind. She asked if Cain could do that. Cain told Lily that he had put his plans to bed, so he didn't have to tell Lily what they were. Lily said if he were to tell her, then it would prove that the man she loved still existed. Just then, Phyllis approached. She wondered if this was a private party or if anyone could join. Cain asked Phyllis to keep going. Cain denied to Lily that he and Phyllis were not working together. Phyllis said it was just on hold. Lily tried to leave. Cain said he and Lily were in the middle of an important talk. Lily said they weren't. Cain tried to get Lily to stay, but she left. Cain yelled at Phyllis and blamed her. "Are you kidding me?" Phyllis asked. She suggested Cain take Lily to his train if he wanted privacy. Phyllis apologized for talking about their business in front of Ali. She added that Lily thinks they are through. Phyllis added that the sparks weren't quite there with him and Lily any longer. Cain asked Phyllis if she was finished. She said yes. "Don't you ever discuss my private life with me again? Do you understand me?" Cain ordered Phyllis before walking away. Meanwhile, Adam, Victoria, and Nick met in Adam's office. Adam wondered who would blame Victor if he used the AI software to his own ends. Everybody?" Nick deadpanned. Adam countered that they'd just be jealous. Vicky didn't see how that could work. Adam said they'd respect the Newmans for their actions if they were to use AI. Nick noted that this sounded like the same old Adam. Vicky said it'd be better to be able to sleep at night than to be naive. Adam said they need to keep an open mind. He wanted Newman to have a huge head start. Vicky said it'd be immoral. Nick noted it would be illegal. "Only if we get caught," said Adam. Adam said he was joking about getting caught. Sort of. He suggested that they wait and see how this develops. Adam said he's putting his money on Victor. Nick agreed, but he didn't put it past Cain to hang on to the software. He may have already started. Nick said that the company could already be under attack. He reminded his siblings that Cain stayed hidden for 6 years, so he's clever. "Trust me, this is far from over," Nick cautioned. Victoria asked how it was going with Nick and Cain's friendship. Nick said it wasn't. He couldn't get Cain to open up and become his pal. Vicky said she knew someone whom Nick could get information from, Phyllis. "She is a hacker," Adam noted. Nick said they didn't know that Phyllis had hacked anything for Cain. Nick refused to get close to his ex-wife to spy on her. Victoria said Nick needed to become Phyllis's confidant once again. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, September 9th, reveal Nick Newman will deliver an emergency warning while Kyle Abbott digs a bigger hole with Clare Newman. First on Tuesday's Y&R episode, Kyle will try to talk his way out of more issues with Clare, who'll remain upset over his secret agreement with Victor Newman. Clare isn't going to let this go, so Kyle may have no choice but to come clean about the $5 million he agreed to pay if he broke her heart. Kyle also agreed to leave town if he violated the contract, so he'll think this should prove the depths of his love. Unfortunately, Clare won't agree with all the secrecy, nor will she like being at the center of some contract like she's a piece of property. Despite Kyle's attempt to explain, he's only going to add to the problems in his already fragile relationship. Meanwhile, Nick will have an emergency meeting with Phyllis Summers and try to put her on high alert when it comes to Cain Ashby's project. Cain's team developed AI software that's undetectable and can wreak havoc once it's installed in a company's system. Since Nick will assume Cain wanted Phyllis for her hacking skills, he'll push her not to get involved in something so shady. Phyllis could get herself arrested if she's caught doing something illegal, so Nick will try to steer her away from any trouble. Of course, Phyllis won't be deterred by Nick or even Cain himself, despite his recent outburst in the park. Speaking of the park, that's where Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti Jr. will share a close moment soon. It'll lead to Daniel calling Tessa beautiful and letting his feelings shine through more than he has before. There's a chance Mariah Copeland might witness Tessa and Daniel's strong bond since she's about to make an admission. Unless Mariah decides to confess what happened with the stranger on her business trip, her admission may be more about Tessa and their derailed marriage. Mariah might come clean about some regrets during a conversation with Sharon Newman and get some advice to fight for love. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Mariah will still be a mess of emotions, so stay tuned for updates on her next move and any bad news that's still to come. Love could finally blossom for one couple in Genoa City, as teased in this week's Young and Restless preview, while another gets a shocking surprise from the man, the myth, the legend, Aristotle Duma Cain Ashby. And is Holden about to spill secrets that could push Clare further away from him or bring her closer? Daniel's already confessed his feelings for Tessa to his father, and now it appears he's opening up to her. After she helped write a song for his dad, and he finally performs it for her, he praises her for coming up with the lyrics to accompany his melody. "They're beautiful, just like you," he tells her. Will she return his feelings? And how will her ex Noah's return to town complicate things for Tessa's messy love life? After refusing to marry Kyle, who she felt was proposing to put a band-aid on his monumental screw-ups with Audra, Clare turned to her pal Holden to try getting drunk for the first time. And of course, their discussion naturally turned to Audra and what really happened between them in Los Angeles. Coming up, Holden reveals that what he and Audra did back then wasn't legal, and he fears the truth will change her view of him. Will he spill the beans and potentially give Clare the ammo she needs to get rid of Audra once and for all? Last week, Cain refused Victor's request, no demand, that Cain work with him to take Jabbit from the Abbotts. So does that have something to do with Cain crashing their big party at Society, which, in fact, is no party at all? The Young and the Restless gave us business machinations, heartbreak, and, most importantly, romance over the last week. Audra Charles is nothing if not calculating. When schemes don't work, she'll fall back on honesty. Dressing contritely, she approached Nate at Crimson Lights, the locale of so many important storylines on Y&R. She confessed to Nate that, yes, she had conspired with Victor. However, she noted that she never would have slept with Kyle. And if Kyle were going to sleep with her, well, then Clare would be better off without him, right? Even when Audra is coming clean, she manages to spin things in her favor. Alas, her plan to be honest failed to win Nate back. Maybe it is better to lie? It's not. Wait, maybe? No, it's not. Don't lie. We need a scorecard to keep up with Cain and machinations. He's not going to use AI to take over all these companies in Genoa City. Instead, he's going to focus on the relationship with his kids. Can we please bring Charlie and Maddie back to the canvas? They're mentioned regularly. We've said this before, but as Phyllis pointed out, Charlie and Maddie will forgive their dad as he's a billionaire and can make their lives much better. We'd also like to find out what the deal is with Sam. Viewers stick through regime after regime, but when new writers come on, they don't always acknowledge what has come before. We have a list of characters who need to come back on screen for some updates. There's Sam. Also, Nina and Philip III. They should both be there for Christine and Danny's upcoming wedding. It's good that Noah's on his way back to Genoa City in the form of Lucas Adams, best known as Trip on Days of Our Lives. But what about Allie, Chemo's daughter? Jack lamented letting Chemo fall out of his life. He felt he had a new chance with Allie. Now, Allie is living thousands of miles away from her family. Y&R has a big emphasis on business, some say to a fault. However, it'd be wrong to say that the show doesn't focus on romance. After being lavished with gifts for her birthday, Nikki decided to get the man she loved a gift. When in doubt, buy the person you love something you know that they're going to love and something you know that they're going to use. What other perfect gift could there be for Victor than a black leather jacket? What Nikki and Victor are missing is help around the house. For years they had Miguel, who's a tough act to follow. Now that Victor and Nikki have a front door at their home, it'd be great if they had someone to answer it. We loved seeing the flashbacks of Victor and Nikki dancing in their old ranch, which looks very much like their new ranch. The script references to how they're not living in the same house are welcome because they're accurate. But if we can get accurate script references to Victor and Nikki's home, we'd like to see continuity across the board. Cain's done a lot of verbal back and forth with Genoa City power players since his return. We've seen him go up against both Victor and Jack. Our vote for his best scene partner among the key personnel is Michael Baldwin. Watching these two go back and forth when Cain eventually offered Michael a job was like watching a tennis match. There was some terrific dialogue in these scenes. We loved Michael calling Cain out on the tragedies that unfolded in France. Cain asked Michael when he was going to get out from under Victor's foot. It appeared that Michael had won until Cain texted him a starting salary. Still, Michael surprised us when he went to surrogate dad Victor to warn him about Cain's plans. Surprise? Surprise! Victor let Michael conclude on his own that he could serve as Victor's double agent. But is there anything to be a double agent over? Cain has sworn up and down to Lily that he's abandoned his plans, yet he's hinted to others that he's not done yet. Doesn't Cain know that if he takes over companies and hurts people, Lily will never want to see him again? That his kids will feel betrayed? Aren't those the last things that Cain wants? Claire's transformation from Jordan's killer accomplice to Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm left us wondering. Once she realized that she'd been kidnapped at birth, it felt like a light switch was flicked, and Claire was ready to put behind her wicked ways in the past. All was forgiven. Okie dokie. She was only welcomed back into Nikki's work life, but she recently got a promotion. It wasn't so much Claire turning so sweetly and so quickly from evil to good that had us confused. Why did Claire's family so easily believe that she had turned a leaf? Was it guilt that they didn't know she was out there? We understand Victor giving Claire a pass because he felt that they had similar upbringings. But why did everyone else? Actually, Summer didn't. She was on alert with good cause. She wasn't championing sending Claire off to jail, but she wasn't comfortable with him being around Harrison unsupervised, and she's gone from the canvas. Let's add Summer to the list of people who need to make a return appearance to Genoa City. In the meantime, Claire needs to be monitored. Get a few Vespers in that young woman, and she gets mighty assertive. In addition to the previously mentioned Lucas Adams, Y&R has also hired familiar faces Tamara Braun, Roger Howarth, and Matt Cohen. Will Braun and Howarth play a married couple? What crime will Cohen's lawman character be investigating? Why couldn't Chance have been spared if a crime was coming up that needed a lawman? We didn't get much emotional impact from Chance's death. We saw Jill's reaction to it. But what about reactions from Nina, Philip III, and Abby? The Y&R landscape is going to look quite different with all these new characters. We're eagerly anticipating who they're going to play. Will they be tied to characters currently on the screen? Kyle may have dodged a bullet by Claire, turning him down. The man stood up to her domineering grandfather, defended Claire when Summer had concerns about her, risked his relationship to expose Audra, and threw together a beautiful romantic proposal. And Claire said no because Kyle didn't tell her some difficult news when she was going through the ordeal of losing her father. But maybe Kyle got lucky. Claire is practically threatening Audra with physical harm when she sees her out and about in Genoa City. And why is Claire getting drunk with Nathan? How would she feel if Kyle were to go out and get plastered with another woman? If it weren't for Holden's impressive arm strength, Claire might have physically attacked Audra, and either or both of them could have ended up in jail. Y&R has lots of business stories going on. Alliances are still forming among the major players, but one group that seems unbeatable is the Newmans. When Victor summons his children to show up in his office, you know things are going to get serious. Victor's kids complement each other well. Adam brings both a Harvard degree and a ruthless business edge to situations. Nick is compassionate and logical. He's 100% accurate when he says that using Cain's AI program, or Victor's AI program, when he gets a hold of it, is unethical and illegal. If Cain's going to use an immorally gained fortune and illegal software to bring down all these companies in Genoa City, what's he truly going to win in the end? As the saying from the good book has posed, what good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? The young and the restless spoilers reveal that Matt Cohen and Haley Aaron's GH chemistry may reignite. Will Claire and Detective Burrow be paired up once Cohen makes his October 16th debut? General Hospital fans may recall that Haley Aaron previously played Kiki Jerome in Port Charles, while Matt Cohen portrayed Dr. Griffin Monroe. When Griffin and Kiki were romantically involved, the duo had great on-screen chemistry. It'd be smart for Y&R to take advantage of that now that Cohen is stepping into the role of Detective Burrow. Kiki and Griffin were a sizzling pairing, so we have no doubt that Claire and Detective Burrow could sizzle too. Of course, Detective Burrow's priority will be solving a new case that'll shake up Genoa City this fall. However, there's room for Detective Burrow to find love in the midst of his investigation. Detective Burrow's timing might be perfect, considering all the drama that's erupted in Claire's relationship with Kyle Abbott. Claire might be open to exploring other romantic options this autumn. Although Claire is currently growing closer to Holden Novak, he's keeping secrets from her just like Kyle is. Claire surely wouldn't like it if she knew Cain Ashby specifically gave Holden instructions to connect with her. It's easy to see that Holden's bond with Claire is real, especially since it started before Cain's orders. Nevertheless, Claire is super sensitive when it comes to secrecy right now, so the fact that Holden is withholding things may not bode well for his own romantic future with her. Perhaps Detective Burrow could come on the scene as someone dependable, honest, and everything that these other men aren't. Claire might find herself drawn to Detective Burrow if that's how Y&R wants to take things. Regardless, it'll be fun to see these GH alums hopefully sharing scenes in the not-too-distant future. Matt Cohen and Haley Aaron are both talented performers who look good on screen together, so we'll see if their characters might get paired up in GC. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Detective Burrow will make quite a splash this autumn, so stay tuned for updates on any shocking news related to his investigation. CDL's where you want to be for exciting Young and the Restless spoilers, news and updates, so make us your #1 source. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, September 8th to September 19th, reveal that Sally Spectra will face a moral dilemma while Sharon Newman learns a secret. Kyle Abbott will also struggle with a big setback, so here's what Y&R fans can expect. During the week of September 8 to 12, Clare Newman will have another major outburst. Kyle's secret agreement with Victor Newman will be what riles Clare up this time, so she may force him to spill the details. Clare isn't going to like the fact that Kyle signed a contract saying he'd pay $5 million and leave town if he became her heartbreaker. Since Kyle never gave Clare the full scoop until now, she'll be sick of him constantly concealing things from her. While Kyle faces a setback in his attempt to fix things with Clare, Audra Charles will get spooked over a threat. Holden Novak will make it clear that he's willing to reveal their Los Angeles secret if Audra keeps antagonizing Clare and Kyle. After Clare puts more pressure on Holden later, we'll see if she gets updates on any LA crimes that were buried. Over with Mariah Copeland, she'll speak from the heart with Tessa Porter, but that may not be enough if she can't be fully honest. Mariah will make an admission of some sort, but it may not involve the truth about the fatal outcome she caused on her business trip. Tessa will continue strengthening her connection with Daniel Romalotti Jr., while Jack Abbott gets a vague message. It could pave the way for the Abbott communications chaos that Cain Ashby is about to cause. Phyllis Summers may make up for her latest blunder in Cain's personal life by helping him score a big win professionally. There should be a team effort around the time that Sally and Billy Abbott's launch party gets called off. That'll be Cain's fault, so he may want to prove that he's in control of the company's fate now, and he very well could be due to the AI software that's been discussed. In the aftermath of Cain's bold news, Jack will interrogate Billy while Phyllis gloats to Sally and passes along some words of wisdom. Sally will eventually deal with a moral dilemma, so Cain may suggest she can only stay on board as CEO if she plays by his shady rules. Then again, Sally might consider delivering a low blow to fight back against Cain instead. Nick Newman will ultimately bring Sharon in the loop on a secret, so that could involve some of the Cain chaos he's become privy to. It also looks like Michael Baldwin will move forward with accepting Cain's job offer, but he'll secretly be employed by Victor and will report any tricks before they wreak havoc. During the week of September 15th and 19th, Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti may have to pivot some of their wedding plans. Danny and Christine are set to get married in October, but there'll be a lot more planning to do before the big day. Christine and Danny's prep work for their nuptials will get derailed somehow, but they'll roll with whatever obstacles are headed their way. Back with Billy, he'll infuriate Adam Newman by causing issues in his relationship with Chelsea Lawson. Adam may retaliate against Billy if he's not careful, so that could affect Billy's relationship with Sally. Finally, the Young and the Restless spoilers say Holden will give Clare an interesting invite, so stay tuned to see if she'll accept. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Clare Grace Newman wants to know about Holden Novak's past with Audra Charles. What exactly happened all those years ago back in Los Angeles? The young man hinted it was illegal, So could they have covered up a murder? Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. What we know is that when Holden came to Genoa City, it was clear there was a connection between him and Audra. At one point, Audra had to explain her history with Holden to Nate Hastings. The brunette claimed that she was doing work for Tucker McCall and ended up facing some tough thugs alone. Somehow, Holden saved her. There seemed to be a lot of holes missing in that story. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Clare and Holden have become friends. The young man has a romantic interest in the blonde, but their dynamic for now is just platonic. Still, Audra couldn't resist the temptation to harass Holden and Clare. Clare is really curious about what went down with Audra and Holden in LA all those years ago. The man didn't seem willing to talk about it and was vague. Then, he mentioned being worried that the truth would change the way Clare feels about him. So, could Holden and Audra have murdered someone? It might have been in self-defense, but covering it up is still a crime. Holden really adores Clare. The man hasn't admitted his true feelings for the blonde. However, what his past holds must be pretty bad, or he would just admit to it. After all, people evolve and change over the years. However, a murder is something totally different, especially if it was covered up. Holden doesn't seem willing to tell Clare all the details. However, Clare could get curious and dig into it further. The blonde might even use Newman resources to do it. If she figures out the truth about Holden and Audra's past, then what does that mean for Clare? If Clare continues having nasty confrontations with Audra, things could turn deadly. While Audra threw Clare, poisoning the Newman family against her, maybe there's a killer secret in the brunette's past too. Would Clare really be scared off by Holden's past? Or could she use it to get Audra out of town for good? The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Monday, September 8th, 2025. In the next episode, fans can expect Victor Newman to drop intel about Kyle Abbott. Holden Novak and Audra Charles threaten each other. Plus, Sally Spectra questions Billy Abbott's decisions. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Victor, who will have some information to share with Clare Grace Newman. Of course, this has nothing to do with Cain Ashby and the threat against the Newman family. Instead, Victor will still be trying to convince Clare to get rid of Kyle. Victor does this likely by bringing up that $5 million deal he made with Victor. When Clare learns about Victor's latest bombshell, she will feel betrayed all over again. The little trust that Clare has for her boyfriend could be totally destroyed, depending on what Victor tells his granddaughter. That will only be Victor's first step. It won't be enough to him that Kyle and Clare are both devastated and brokenhearted. The patriarch wants Kyle, Jack Abbott, and Jabot utterly destroyed, even if he has to break the law and use AI to do it. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, September 8th reveal that Holden and Audra will face each other once again. Holden might warn Audra to steer clear of him as well as Clare. However, Audra wants someone to blame and punish for her destroyed life. At the same time, I'm curious what kind of deed Holden and Audra committed back then. Was it a serious crime, such as murder? If they don't learn to make peace, then both of their secrets could be exposed, ruining their lives in Genoa City. Holden did give Clare a hint by saying it would change the way she sees him. However, Clare has done an awful lot of bad things too. There is also Billy and Sally. While Billy is making bold decisions, the redhead starts to question his judgment. Sally worked so hard on this launch party for Abbott Communications. The Young and the Restless spoilers imply that since the debacle that took place at Cain Ashby's summer home in Nice, fans haven't seen or heard from Abby Newman Abbott Winters. The good news is that she's heading back to Genoa City very soon, as actress Melissa Ordway recently shared an update on her Y&R character's status. Ordway hopped on Instagram the evening of Wednesday, September 3rd, and posted 3 photos of her with some of her Y&R castmates. Uploaded from the location of the CBS television city, the first pic is of Melissa with Billy Flynn and Brighton James. In addition, the second photo is of Ordway with Amelia Heinle, and the third is of Ordway with Cameron Grimes. Ordway's IG caption reads, "Abby Newman Abbott Winters and Friends." She added, "If you could be any character on @Young and Restless CBS, who would be? Comment below and let me know. From the sounds of it, Ordway was in the CBS studios this week, and as the soap films about 6 weeks ahead of broadcast, it looks like Abby should be seen on canvas sometime in October. What brings her back to storylines? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Y&R fans hopped into the comment section listing characters like Abby, Sally Spectra, Tracy Abbott, Sharon Newman, and Phyllis Summers, DC, among others, as people they'd love to play on the soap. Speaking of Stafford, she commented on Ordway's Instagram post with a heart emoji. Meanwhile, Justin Michael Gaston, Ordway's husband, also commented on the post, noting that he'd like to play Chance, which is hilarious since he did play Chance Chancellor in a quickie run in 2020. Are you happy about Abby's return? Share your thoughts. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily and check out this site often for the best Young and the Restless updates, spoilers, and news. There were a lot of romantic shakeups this week in Genoa City. The Young and the Restless kicked off a new week with lots of romance and drama. Here's a look at a few memorable moments from September Wars 5. Kyle messed things up by not being honest with Clare about Audra. This week, Kyle tried to rectify the situation with a romantic dinner. Everything was going quite well with Kyle apologizing and Clare giving him a second chance. However, Kyle made things worse with his next romantic surprise. Clare was caught off guard when Kyle popped the question. Under different circumstances, she might have said yes, but the timing and intention of his proposal have her questioning their relationship. It wasn't a good week for Audra. Monday started with her finally confessing to Nate about her and Victor's deal. Audra hoped that by telling the truth, Nate would forgive her, but it only made him angrier. Later, Audra ran into Kyle in the park, and the two quickly traded barbs. Kyle warned Audra to stay away from him and Clare, but Audra is hell-bent on being a thorn in the couple's side. When Audra later bumped into Clare and Holden at Society, she couldn't resist trying to rile up her enemy. Yet, Clare held her own against Audra, and at one point, they almost came to blows. Luckily, Holden stepped in to defuse the situation, but Audra and Clare's next encounter could have them getting physical. While it was a tough week for some couples, others found time for romance. Wednesday's episode featured Billy and Sally taking the next step in their relationship. No, not marriage, but moving in together. Billy adorably asked Sally to move in with a mock-up newspaper article. Although Sally was hesitant, given her previous heartaches, she decided to take the plunge. Victor is always lavishing Nikki with gifts and surprises. Now it was her turn to return the favor. Nikki planned a romantic dinner, then gifted her husband a ring and a leather jacket. While it wasn't extravagant, Victor loved the gifts and the thought Nikki put into them. The couple capped off the evening with a slow dance as flashbacks played of Nikki and Victor's previous dances. It was a beautiful moment, honoring Y&R's beloved couple. He went from one powerful man to another. Lauren advised Michael to quit working for Victor. However, Cain made Michael an offer he couldn't turn down, despite working with a man like him before. A man who put him through hell and back. Michael left Victor because he didn't agree to be his fluffer. But something tells us he's going to be left cleaning Cain's messes on the Young and the Restless. Michael isn't the quiet quitting type. He quit working for Victor and made it known. Michael didn't agree with going after Jabot because of his association with Diane and Lauren. Yet, he's willing to work for Cain despite knowing what went down in Nice. Cain's assistant, Carter, went down a dark path. He killed Damien and Chance in order to protect his boss. On top of that, Amanda has been busy cleaning up all of Cain's messes. And yet, Cain needs another powerful lawyer to work with him. Like most, Lauren doesn't trust Cain. She won't be happy to hear that her husband got a deal to work with him, especially now that his plans to use artificial intelligence are going around town. Michael admitted he needs his wife's permission to work for Cain, but she won't be willing to go along with it. The first thing she's going to worry about is Michael's well-being and the even seedier dealings he'll have to do for Cain. Michael has been groomed by Victor for much of his life. He finally escaped that toxic environment just to potentially enter another one. Now Michael is pulled between two people, his former boss and a new boss who has an even more lucrative offer. Something tells us that he's going to be Victor's punching bag once again. Victor wants to get intel on Cain so he can run him out of town. These two aren't giving up without a fight. What Michael needs to do is heed his wife's advice and leave both men behind.